Hi, Craig Hendricks here with you today with Ideal Property Network. Thanks for coming to hear about real estate investment. We're going to learn a lot about real estate investment today. So exciting to be here. Thanks for coming. And let's just dive right in. So we're going to learn about earning income with real estate. It is a crazy world out there, and we're going to learn how to make some solid income with real estate. You can do it today. It's an exciting world. So we're just going to dive right in. So a lot of people come to our seminars and ask, why do we come to these seminars? Why do we want to learn about real estate? Real estate's an exciting thing. And a lot of people have perceptions about what real estate can bring to them. We think about the lifestyle that real estate brings to us. People come to learn about real estate because it's fun. Real estate's a great fun thing to learn about. Those people that have real estate have a fun lifestyle. It gives us a lot of freedom. Real estate brings in income when we're not managing it directly, and you can have a lot of freedom associated with real estate. And of course, primary reason why people want to invest in real estate is make more money. So obviously, we're going to talk about that today. How do you bring more money into your life, utilizing real estate as the method to do that? So let's talk about real estate investment and where it's been. 10, 15 years ago, when people talked about real estate investment, a lot of people didn't believe in that you can actually make an income with real estate. But with the advent of things like HGTV, there's some great shows on HGTV now. I love watching them. There's Love It or List It, Beachfront Bargain Hunts. It's one of my favorite. Love watching that. Property Brothers, fun show to watch as well. There's just all kinds of them. House Hunters International. Flip and Flop's a fun one for renovations. But I enjoy sitting down just watching HGTV. A lot of people do. And there are a lot of people that make a living in real estate and real estate investment nowadays. And the reason real estate is really exciting is because of what it can provide. We already talked briefly about this, but the lifestyle that real estate provides is exceptional because you don't have to be there 24 hours a day working or have to clock in to make money in real estate. It creates a lifestyle. It creates security because there's an ongoing benefit. Real estate brings in money while you're sleeping. So it brings a lifestyle and a security. So what I like to ask a lot of people is, where would you like to own real estate? Where would you like to have a property? Because you know what? You're not limited to where you can own property, whether it's in the United States or abroad. You can own property. You can visit your property anywhere in the world. It's just a fun profession to be in. So really, one of the things we talk about in real estate is the lifestyle it provides. So the question is, have you ever missed a child's baseball game, a concert, a performance? A lot of times when we get locked up in going to work, 8 to 5 every day, having those night appointments, sometimes you miss the important things in life. And that's why we are excited about real estate, because it provides you the freedom and flexibility to spend time with your family and do the things that are important in life. Life just isn't like it used to be. The old 40 by 40 plan was what our parents worked. You work for 40 hours a week for 40 years. And usually when you retire, you get a gold watch. That's just not the way commerce works today. We just don't work for the same company for 40 years like our parents did. Things are different. We don't do things the way our parents did. There's a changing population. There's less security. We change jobs more often. We don't work for the same company for 40 years. And as a result, a lot of people don't have a pension. A pension is a defined benefit plan. So you know exactly what you're going to get after you work, but very few companies have a pension nowadays. In 1980, 40% of America had a pension. Today, it's 13%. Very few people have a pension. They don't have a secure retirement that a pension used to provide. We don't know what that retirement's going to be nowadays. A lot of individuals work for a lot of different companies. Every room I'm in, when I speak, I ask, how many companies people have worked for. And very rarely has a person only worked for 1 or 2 or even 3 companies. We change jobs. It's a mobile society. So the question is, what does our portfolio look like? Or do we wish we had a portfolio? We talked about pensions. Very few people have pensions nowadays. A lot of people rely on putting money into their 401k plans. And we'll talk more about 401ks, definitely. Some people have IRAs or mutual funds. So the question is, what do you put your money into today? Where does real estate fit into that? A lot of people, like I mentioned, probably the most common is a 401k plan. So let's take a look at that. This is a headline I came across just a little while ago. It says the 401k is wreaking havoc on retirement. Why would that be? Isn't that a good thing to contribute to your retirement plan, your 401k? Well, number one, not everyone does. Only 30% of eligible employees, 30% don't participate in their plan. The other problem is we've relied now on these 401k plans, assuming they have the same safety and effect as a pension. Like I said, a pension is a defined benefit plan. We know exactly what we're going to get in retirement. A 401k is a defined contribution plan. Defined contribution plan allows us to put money in, but we don't know what we're going to get out of it. We don't know what that money is going to look like when we're ready to retire. And a lot of people think, if I just contribute, I have money in my 401k, my retirement is set. I can't tell you how many people I've sat down with that say, look, I've got $100,000 or $200,000 in my 401k. I'm going to retire. I am just fine. Have you ever thought about that? How much money does it take to retire, to live comfortably? Is it $100,000 or $200,000? You just really can't. And 68% of American workers do not even participate in a retirement plan. And that's a lot because we work for smaller companies. A lot of companies do not have retirement plans set up. And that's just the nature of society today. So let's take a look again at that 401k plan. This is an average 401k balance at age 65, about $196 or close to $200,000. Have you ever considered what $200,000 will do for you in retirement? There's a rule called the 4% rule. And that rule says that if you have a certain sum of money when you're going to retire, you can take out roughly 4% of that money per year and probably not have to worry too much about running out of money. So let's take this example. If you have $200,000 at age 65 and you want to retire, you could take out 4% of that per year. 4% of $200,000 is $8,000. You divide that by 12, and it's not a whole lot of money to live on per month. You just can't do it. You cannot live on a $200,000 401k balance. And frankly, you couldn't live on a $400,000 401k balance. It's just not enough money. So what do? Our savings habits are horrible. 42% of American workers live paycheck to paycheck. 25%, a quarter of us that are earning $100,000 per year, six figures, are living paycheck to paycheck. Do you know somebody who is living paycheck to paycheck who earns a lot of money? I certainly do. 29% of American workers have less than $1,000 in savings. That's almost a third of us. Half of us have less than a month's income saved. It's crazy. Our savings rate is 4.4%. It actually used to be less than that. But millennials, the younger people coming up now, have a negative savings rate due to a number of factors: student debt, rent prices, etc. But it's just crazy. We just don't save enough money to be comfortable in the future. And this is where we are at age 65. Where do you want to be when you're 65? 54% of us are completely dependent. 36% working, 5 of us aren't even here anymore. And there's only 5% of us that are either financially independent or wealthy. Where do you want to be? And what do we do about it? What are the options that we have? Well, we talked about retirement accounts, 401ks, 403bs, pensions, that sort of thing. What do? Do we put money in a bank? Can you earn any money in a bank nowadays? Putting it in a savings account or even a CD? I know what my bank pays, and it's pretty much nothing. Mutual funds, you can always put money in the stock market, but that's kind of the same thing as 401k. Most 401ks are in the stock market. Are they earning much money? You want to sell stuff on the internet? What do? I'm waiting for this one. Inheritance would be a good way. How about starting a business? I'm sure many of you have thought about or have started a business. You ever thought about what that takes to start a business? Capital is a huge part of starting a business. How much money do you need to start a business? I bought a franchise once a few years back. It was actually a very inexpensive franchise comparatively. It was about a $50,000 buy-in for a franchise. And we did very well. However, it wasn't $50,000 to start the business. In addition to the $50,000 franchise fee, we actually put into the business about $300,000 just to start a franchised business. It's crazy. And if you want to get a franchise business that's well known, such as some of the businesses shown here, you can see how much money it takes. Anywhere from $1 million to $3.5 million to start a franchise, and even then, there's no guarantee of success. So again, what do? When we talk about real estate, I mean, we're here to talk about real estate today. Should real estate be part of our portfolio? Well, let's look at how millionaires got wealthy. What percent of millionaires got wealthy through real estate? 74% of millionaires got their money through real estate investment. 10% are CEOs or presidents. Maybe through some stock options, they got some money and got very wealthy. Doctors and attorneys, some of them do very well. There's some good salespeople out there that make money and have become millionaires as a result. And 1% get it through the lottery. And I keep trying. It hasn't worked yet for me on the lottery. But real estate investment provides the best way, and more people have made money through real estate than any other investment. And there's a reason for that. What does real estate do for us? Well, number one, it gives us cash flow. If you buy and hold, you get cash flow. If you do some flipping, you get some great paydays. And it's fun to receive that money. Real estate provides tax benefits. You get deductions. There's all kinds of great tax benefits from owning real estate. Leverage is one of my favorite words. And I think everyone understands what leverage is. You don't have to put all of the money down to own a property or control a property or a piece of real estate. You can actually do this very easily. It's not that tough to learn to invest in real estate. We're going to go through some examples today that are very, very simple. And you don't need to quit your job to do it. You can still maintain employment while you do real estate part-time. I've done a lot of fun things, and always in the background, I'm doing some real estate deals. Fun thing to do. Question is, why don't we? Why don't we do what we know would bring us money? This is what I come across a lot. People tell me, what if something goes wrong? What if I don't get the return that I was expecting? What if it loses value? What if I have to put money into it? They're scared. Well, we're going to try to take that out of it for you. Knowledge. A lot of people talk about knowledge. What do I need to learn in order to do this effectively? A lot of people like to prepare to prepare. They need to know everything before they dive in. Well, you know what? You learn a lot more when you dive in and just get it done. But we'll teach you. I mean, we'll know what you need to know, and you won't have to worry about it. Of course, time. People worry about time, but you can do this part-time very easily, and we'll take that component out of it as well. And money. People are worried. What if I don't have the money? How do I get the money to take care of investment purchases? So let's talk about all of these. These are reasons why people don't do it. Let's see if we can solve these issues. Okay. So back to real estate. Why is it such a powerful investment? This is Time Magazine. It came out with an article calling real estate the ideal investment. Real estate has ideal components to it. Income, deductions, equity, appreciation, and leverage. There is no other investment that I know of that provides all of these benefits all together, and real estate does. Let me talk about just a couple of my favorites here. One is leverage. We talked briefly about leverage before, but really, you can control a piece of property without putting very much down at all. In this specific example, let's first of all take a look at the national average for appreciation since 1968. This is from the National Association of Realtors, just over 6%. So this is an average over the last many, many years. So for example, if you buy a property costing $200,000, you don't have to put $200,000 down. You can put $10,000 down on a property. Can you, that's 5%. Can you get into a property putting down 5% today? Absolutely. There's plenty of loan programs available where you can put down 5%. So in this example, we have a $200,000 property. You've only put down $10,000, but you control all of that $200,000. So when appreciation comes into effect, that applies to the entire price of the home. So $200,000 home appreciating at 6% is worth $212,680, which on your $10,000 investment is 127% return. Where else can you do that? That's just the power of leverage. The other thing I'd just like to look at real quickly is equity growth. I do a lot of seminars across the country, and invariably I ask who has purchased a home over 30 years ago. And invariably there's someone in the room that has, and I ask what they pay for it. And it's usually $20,000, $25,000. And when I ask what the home is worth today, it's not uncommon to have someone say it's now worth over $1 million. That's what happens. Your equity grows over time. And as you can see in this chart, a $200,000 home over 30 years at just a basic 6% interest or appreciation rate, you're going to have over $1 million home. And by the way, over that same time period, your mortgage is being paid down, hopefully by tenants. So you don't have to pay it, and there is no mortgage on the property. So you have a total value of $1.1 million. This is how powerful equity growth is and appreciation. It's just amazing how quickly you can gain value in a property. So let's take a look at a couple of examples here, and if you could follow me in this one, this is just an incredibly powerful example of real estate versus retirement plans. So let's just assume there's two people. One is Bob and one is Craig. Bob's age 45. Craig is age 45. Same situation. They both have $100,000 in retirement funds, and they're going to set aside $500 per month to invest. So Bob just continues to invest in his retirement, $500 a month into his 401k or annuity or whatever it happens to be. Craig, however, decides to invest in income-producing real estate. Let's see what the difference is. Craig's strategy is to buy 3 homes. I can buy 2 homes now and just one more in 10 years. So I'm going to use that $100,000 to put a down payment. I'm going to put a down payment on 2 $200,000 homes. So 25% down on a $200,000 home is $50,000, so I can buy 2 of them. I'm going to get rent of about $1,500 per month, and I'm going to have a payment. So basically, I'm just going to rent a investment home. Okay, and then with that $500 per month, I'll save that up for about 10 years and buy a 3rd home. So this is how it looks. Cash flows at age 65. From those 3 properties, Craig's going to get cash flow. And Bob, we put that $100,000 and the $500 per month into an annuity calculator, and Bob's going to get anywhere from $13,000 to $20,000 per year, best case scenario. Craig is going to receive almost double that from his properties. So which one would you rather have, Bob's 401k or Craig's properties? Craig's properties will produce double the amount of income. However, it's a little bit better than that. Remember, we talked about starting cash flow now. Craig didn't want to wait till age 65 to start cash flow. He wanted it now. So that's why he bought properties. So what did that cash flow look in the meantime? At age 65, Craig's going to have double the amount of cash flow. But what happened in the meantime from age 45 to 65? Property 1 generated $147,000, property 2 $147,000, and property 3 $88,000. While Bob was accumulating and waiting to retire, not taking any money out, Craig received $383,000 from those properties. Pretty incredible difference. The equity value at age 65 is considerably different as well. Bob's annuity, or his value of his 401k, is going to be worth anywhere from $350,000 to $500,000 roughly. Craig's property is going to be worth $761,000 at 3% appreciation, very conservatively. So again, Craig has a lot more value at age 65 than Bob. Then, one more thing. Let's take a look at what I call the legacy value. What happens in the next 20 years? When Bob starts drawing from his 401k, what happens to the balance of that account? It goes to 0. Bob uses his money in retirement until such time when he passes away, there's going to be nothing left. Craig's properties keep appreciating. They continue to receive cash flows. The value of what Craig has received since age 45 is a total of $3.5 million versus Bob's value right now of 0. That is the difference in buying real estate versus just continuing to invest in your annuity or retirement plan. Very stark difference. So Craig gets income now. He has double the cash flow. He gets appreciation. Craig gets an increase in equity. There, by the way, I didn't even mention the tax benefits along the way. If you buy these properties in a self-directed IRA/LLC, you can even avoid paying, capital gains or any other taxes because it goes right back into your IRA. We did not even include the reinvestment of cash flow. If Craig gets cash flow along the way, he's going to reinvest it. And what could I have done? I probably could have bought a 3rd property or a 4th property or a 5th property. Okay. So let's talk about types of real estate investment. There are various types of real estate investment. We have flips and rehabs. We have wholesaling. There's land. There's short-term vacation rental, commercial, long-term rental, buy and hold. We're going to talk about all of these today. So let me give you a few examples. This is, what's their names? Tarask and Christina, I believe. But Flip and Flop is a show on HGTV. They rehab properties and flip them and resell them for more. So here's my first investment. This is a flip, a rehab This picture is actually after the rehab, so it looks kind of nice. You can see the rebar sticking out because I poured that driveway. Got a nice lawn in there now. It looks really nice, but it was quite a disaster. And it was an interesting experience going through my first rehab. So here's what happened to me. I purchased this property for $65,000. Repairs about $15,000. And we actually went out. I got a partner. We went out, got a hard money loan to take care of this. And we did it with no money out of pocket. And everything looked good. And that was the last time I saw my partner. I have no idea what happened to him. So I'm trying to figure out what to do with this property. He took off. I spent a couple of years trying to figure out how to take control of this property. The hard money loan was coming due. So what I did is I didn't even know who this hard money lender was. My partner got the money for me. And this was before I could just check on the internet and find out, the address of this individual. I ended up searching for this individual, trying to research who it was, trying to pay this hard money loan back before it was due, so he didn't take the property. Ended up getting a check and slipping it under the door of who I thought might be the hard money lender. Cashier's check for roughly, $80,000. I slipped under someone's door. Hopefully that was him. So he didn't take the property back. So I'm assuming it was the right person I got the money to. Anyway, I got another loan to take care of the repairs for the property. Got some advice from a person I was working with about how to get this all fixed up. And it took several years, but I actually sold the property for $139,000 and made a profit. Now, that was a very difficult experience. It was a very good learning experience for me. Made a profit. It was probably worth it, but boy, did I learn about flipping and rehabbing. Good experience. Here's my first home that I actually lived in. Beautiful home. We enjoyed that for 11 and a half years. Bought that in 1993. Built that for $105,000 plus our lot. Sold it 11 years later, 11 and a half years for $280,000. And basically we had $150,000 in equity. We pulled that money out and started investing in real estate. And here's, the first thing I bought was this lot, this view. And that's our first investment in real estate. And we used that lot to build this family cabin, which is on the site right now. Beautiful, overlooking the lake. We used that for many years. And actually, I actually turned that into a short-term rental property as well. Made it into a real estate investment and a cash flow property. So we really enjoyed that aspect of real estate investing. Wholesaling. What is wholesaling? Well, number one, the traditional way of teaching what wholesaling is you get a property under contract. You find some motivated sellers that may be encountering a situation that is not good. You find another buyer for that property after you put it under contract, and hopefully make some money by flipping the contract, basically, is what it is. So the traditional way of teaching people how to do that is just a little suspect. I mean, really, should you be putting a property under contract if you have no intention of closing? Good question to ask, right? You are finding people in certain circumstances that have some fears coming up, and sometimes that's what you do to wholesale. The assumption is when you're wholesaling in this manner that the market's inefficient, you know something that someone else is doing, and what value are you really adding? You're just taking advantage of the situation and flipping it. Now, that all being said, there are some really legitimate ways to wholesale properties. I've actually worked a few wholesale deals where, for example, I worked with a developer who said, hey, I want to get this development going. I'm selling some lots really cheaply right now because they're paper lots and I need to get some infrastructure done. So I'm going to sell it to you really cheap. That's wholesaling. I had another developer that said, hey, me and my partner are splitting up. I need to sell some lots real quickly to pay him off. Here's 4 lots. I'll give it to him really cheap. That's really wholesaling. And it works. It works really well, but you have to have some good relationships established. Okay, let's talk about land. This is a ranch that I owned up in Idaho, and it's basically the mountain that you see in front of us right here, 323 acres. But interesting how you acquire land, and can land be a source of income? It's another good question. So let me tell you about this ranch. It's here it is in the fall, beautiful colors. But I bought this for $285,000. And the question is, who do you buy a ranch from? It's a rancher, right? They've lived all their lives really being dependent upon things they can't control, the weather, that sort of thing. So you really don't need to go to a bank in most cases to do this. They're more than happy with owner financing. As long as I can get some secured income for a long period of time, they're more than happy to do owner financing. Matter of fact, very, very few of my deals I've done through a bank. Owner financing is a great way to do it. So purchased this on owner financing and then went to the FSA. That is the Farm Service Agency. Many of you have heard about maybe the CRP program, the Conservation Resource Program, where the government actually pays farmers not to farm. That's one program the FSA has. I qualified for the EQIP program. And the EQIP program basically pays for developing the property, improving the property. So I had some weeds that they helped me get rid of. I developed a spring on the property and did some fencing all around the property. And basically the Farm Service Agency paid me to do that. So I actually made money doing that besides the grazing fees. They actually paid me $14,295 to do a fence and some development of the spring. So it was really, really good situation. So back to the property I turned into a short-term rental. This is the next thing we're going to talk about is vacation rentals, short-term rentals. And in 2017, this property grossed $34,900. We rented it out 77 nights, but it's in a very seasonal area. Not a lot of rentals during the fall, winter time frame, primarily just the summer for family reunions and things like that. Vacation rentals are really fun things to own because you can use them and block out time anytime you want. You can go use them and schedule your family time. And while you're not there, other people can help you pay for it. Okay, so it's great to do, but it does take some work. You got to advertise these primarily through VRBO, Airbnb, and TripAdvisor are the primary websites where you can advertise for short-term vacation rentals. Here's another vacation rental I have in a more southerly area where you can rent it year-round. This is a 5-bedroom, 2,700 square foot condo on the golf course. Really fun to go there. This grossed almost $50,000, 179 nights. So you can tell a lot more nights, not quite as much per night. You know, the advantages of having homes like this is, like I said, you can go anywhere you want and spend any time you want there for your vacation. And your renters primarily cover your payment. The problem is they're not giving you a high rate of return. Usually they can cover your payment or maybe slightly less. The costs are higher because you have to have it cleaned between each tenant, inspected, and you also have to constantly be on the internet marketing your property, making sure you get tenants in there. But they're fun to have. So that's short-term rentals. Here's some of the short-term rentals I've actually done. I've actually built these and sold them to individuals doing short-term rental properties. These are really fun. These are about 4,000 to 4,800 square foot properties overlooking the lake. They're just beautiful. You can see that they're built for families. Many bedrooms, so you can fit as many people in there as they want. And they look fantastic inside. We build them just beautifully. Very high quality cabins. This is the last one I sold. This was actually sold before we even completed it, but about 4,600 square foot, 7-bedroom home. That's the front of it overlooking the lake. Just people love coming there, and they'll spend 4 or 5, 6 days with their family reunions, going to the lake, and we make a good return. So they're fun investments to have. Commercial properties, a little bit more difficult for an individual investor to acquire. A lot of these are acquired by institutional investors, but they're fun to have because they're more long-term, a little more stable, but we can always look into commercial properties. Now let's just talk about long-term rental properties. Let me tell you a story about one of the people I worked with. This is Kent. In January 2011, he saw an ad for an 8-unit apartment building, and the ad said that if you put 15% down, it'll be owner financing. The total purchase price was $700,000. So 15% of $700,000, Kent had to come up with, I believe it was about $105,000 he needed to come up with. And then another 20 or so in closing costs and additional fees. But basically, he was able to borrow $100,000 from a family member. So he only had to come up with, $10, $15, $20,000 out of his pocket to acquire this property. So he actually bought this property. So he carried a contract with the previous owners for $595,000. But what he found out very quickly is the rents were misrepresented. They're actually lower than what they said. He also spent a lot of money evicting tenants. And then he started throwing money into landscaping and planting flower beds and building a fence. He spent a lot of money redoing the actual units themselves. And it was about a 1.5 year period where he had a negative cash flow. But as the units got nicer and nicer, he was able to raise rents to the point where they went from $775 all the way up to $1,200 to $1,300. The current value is $1.2 million. And you can see that's quite a gain in the last 5, 6, 7 years. Now this property looks like this. It's beautiful. He has the fence that basically he had his family build. He brought his kids over and said, guess what? We're building a fence today. And a great family business to be involved. So they have a positive cash flow. They have an asset worth $1.2 million. Well, the story doesn't end there. In August of 2016, Kent found a 9-unit apartment complex, which hadn't been improved since it was built, and that was in 1983. The asking price was $1,025,000, and the owner was getting many, many offers on this, dozens of offers. You can see how attractive this looked with the linoleum floor, and it's very dated, obviously. So how did Kent get this property? Wow, and that's how it looked when it was for sale. So very dated, nothing had been updated. So Kent offered $1,075,000. That is $50,000 over the asking price, and he put down a $25,000 non-refundable earnest money check. So how did he get it? 75% of $1,075,000 is $800,000. He got $800,000 from the bank just to buy it. He then took his first apartment complex and refinanced it because in the last 6 or 7 years, it had appreciated quite heavily. So he received $1.15 million in order to buy this property for $1.075. So basically, he had zero money down and he pocketed $75,000 to buy a 9-unit apartment complex. The rents were between $850 and $950. So he took that and started by kicking out the guy starting the marijuana business in his apartment. He upgraded the building and started to improve each unit. And then guess what happened? All the tenants saw what was going on. They actually believed that the apartment complex was being improved, and they said, we want a new updated apartment as well, and we're willing to pay for it. He was able to get the rents increased. Now they're between $1,250 and $1,350. He did not lose any tenants. They love it, and it's a great, great experience, and the value of the property went from basically $1.1 to $1.6 million in a 1-year time frame. So Kent, between those two properties, gained about $1 million in equity just over a short period of time. This is what long-term rental real estate can do for you. This is what the property looks like afterwards, by the way. You can see the bathroom, much better, beautiful looking. The exterior looks fantastic. Kitchens were redone, floors, cabinetry, appliances look fantastic, countertops. And it didn't take that much to do it. Here's a short-term rental unit that I have. And the quick story behind this one, basically I heard about this one. It's not fancy, but it looks nice. I saw it online. I saw it on a Sunday night, and the asking price was $120,000. I called Monday morning, and the agent said, I'm sorry, this is sold. You cannot have it. And I said, well, wait a minute. Is it signed yet? And they said, no, but they're selling it today. They've already kind of reached a tentative agreement. I said, look, how do I get this property? It's not signed yet. They said, look, unless you're willing to make a cash offer above asking price, they're not going to consider it. I said, done. I made it above asking price offer, $121,500, sight unseen, didn't even see it. I said, I will pay cash. Here's my offer. And I got it. It was accepted. I put new carpet in it, put new paint. My tenant pays in advance, a few months usually, and it's been a great investment for me. Sometimes you just have to jump in and do it. So, it's interesting how you look at real estate. You got to learn to see things differently. I learned to look for real estate, not at real estate. I mean, there's a lot of real estate agents out there that are in front of real estate every day, but they don't look for it. They just see it. They don't look for opportunities. So a lot of times I like to show people this picture and say, what do you see? Do you see an old woman or do you see a young woman in this picture? And usually it's about half and half, but you got to be able to see both sides of the situation. Here's an example. This is a property we drove by, some of my employees in Florida. And you don't see a whole lot from this picture. There's a chain link fence in front of it. It kind of looks like a rundown building. But what's our perspective on this building? What if we walked around the building and took a look at it? What if we walked from behind the building? And you can see a little bit different perspective now. Maybe there's some potential there of some renovation. Maybe you can make something out of this. It still has a chain link fence. But what if we step back another few steps? Does this change your perspective on the potential of a building like this with a high-rise next door on the beach in Florida? It might be worth something. This is a unit we saw in, I believe it was Virginia. And when we stopped by this area, there was the developer, the builder was actually right there. And we said, well, wait a minute, you're building townhomes. You forgot to put in the middle one. Where's the middle townhome? And he said, no, these are single family homes. And we said, look, if you can walk in the door, stretch out your arms and touch both walls at the same time, these are not single family homes. These are townhomes. And he said, no, look, we're running out of land. These are the next phase in the building of standard homes. And this is what's happening. This is in Portland. Is this home for sale? Well, there's no sign. There's no sign in the yard. But if you look closely, there's a sign in the window. And it says $129,000. So we knocked on the door and said, do you get much, have you had much interest in selling this home? Has anyone stopped by? And he goes, no, you're the first ones. There's opportunities all over to look at things differently and to see things that other people won't. This is an interesting situation. Either it's new construction or something, but it turns out this is an unfinished home. The builder ran out of money, construction people left, and just left it like this. And maybe there's opportunity here. Here's a home we drove by, and there's couches out on the front lawn. And if you could see real closely there on one of the couches, it says free couch. So what is this? This is an eviction. There might be a potential property owner that may be tired of renting at this point. Maybe there's an option or an opportunity here to look at. It's just seeing things differently. Here's the latest trend in mobile homes. There's just all kinds of different things you can see. So the question is, what is best? We've looked at flips, we've looked at rehabs and wholesaling, land, short-term or vacation rentals, commercial property, and long-term rental property. Based on all that, and in my experience, here's what I would say. Long-term income-producing real estate is the most consistent, stable, reliable, and predictable way to accumulate cash flow and ultimately wealth. In any condition, it weathers the storms. Whether the economy is going up or down, whether appreciation is up or down, you are continuing to receive income. Remember the example we did with Craig and Bob? What would you rather have, Bob's retirement or Craig's homes? So we're firm believers here in long-term income-producing real estate. A lot of times we look at why we do things. And especially in real estate, if you're considering getting into real estate or any venture, we have to figure out why. What is your why of doing things? Is it the lifestyle that you can get? Is it security? I mean, obviously real estate can provide both of these. Is it the freedom that you can get? If you're looking for these things, real estate certainly is a primary way to secure these things for your life. But really, what's your purpose? What do you want to do? What motivates you? Why do we get up in the morning to go to work? Why do we take care of things and earn a living and try to bring a paycheck home? Why do we look at new opportunities like real estate? Well, most of the time it boils down to your purpose. A lot of you have families that you care about, you want to take care of. This is one of the things that we do on an annual basis. For the last 6 years, we have gone down. This is actually in Mexico. We go build homes for those less fortunate than us and try to help out with their self-reliance, helping them plant gardens, working with the orphanage down there, just overall helping people reach higher in their lives. And this is just one purpose that we have in my family to help others and succeed. It's interesting that a few years back I was associated with a company, and one of the principals of the company asked all these franchisees across the country, what is your purpose? What is your ultimate goal? When you reach your income levels, what do you want to do? And 90% of them actually said something very similar. They wanted to serve others. So I'd encourage you to find your purpose, your why, as to why you want to make money in real estate. This is another thing that my wife and family like to do. This is a tribe in Peru, northern Peru, in the Amazon, and we were able to help them out a little bit. This is us pouring some pillars at a little school in Guatemala, and whatever you can do to help others, and these are little kids in the school. They were just fun to be with. So it makes a big difference if you can help others in your life. I like this saying that some people dream of success and others go out and work hard at it. I found that the harder I work, the luckier I get. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about the fears that people might have in investment. Landlording, you don't want to get a call in the middle of the night to fix a clogged toilet. You don't know what to do to find reliable contractors. You want to find good tenants. I don't want to collect rents. What about my cash flow? I mean, all these are fears. What if it doesn't work? Basically, what we do here at Ideal Property Network is provide worry-free real estate. We try to find great areas of the country where real estate is going to appreciate, and then we do everything we can for you to make it as hassle-free as possible. So we conduct the market research. We know where to go. We negotiate with developers to find cash flow opportunities for buy and hold properties. We get the property management into place so that you don't have to worry about tenants. They just send you a check, and the idea is to just pretty much have you sit back and get a check. So very, very simple. So here's some of the actual properties that we do have available currently, but here's a good example of a beautiful home. And some of these homes you can get fairly inexpensively. Here's one in Alabama, and this home is only $151,000. 4-bedroom home, 1,725 square feet. So great opportunity there. These are just samples. Here's another one, $152,000. Where I live here in Utah, these would be going for $350,000. Here's some properties. Another one, $162,000. We have properties in several states. Here's Indiana, and they look beautiful inside. They're designed very well. Here's one in Wisconsin. These are actually rehabs in Wisconsin. We have some properties there that we have some partners that go in and just strip them and rebuild inside and just redo them. Very, very nice. They're beautiful inside. Here's one that was done. This is a home from the 50s. It looks just spectacular now. And here's one in South Carolina. This one is just spectacular. $194,000 for over a 2,000 square foot home that rents for $1,700, $1,800 per month. It's just a spectacular cash flow. These are the homes we find for you, and this is what they look like inside. These are just spectacular. Could you feel good putting a renter in a home like this? Is really the question, and they're just fantastic. Here's a more recent one. Just came on board, $189,000 for a beautiful home like that, and you can tell the quality of the components. We check out all the builders to make sure they're providing great value for you. Here's a home for $225,000. That's 2,650 square feet. I mean, what a great value that is. But really, the more important thing is the cash flow, your cap rate. We make sure that your tenants are in place, and they're going to get you a great return. And they look fantastic inside. Look at the detail on the wall here. Just fantastic. Tennessee is another area where we have beautiful homes. And you got to see the insides of these. Take a look at the inside of this home here. Would you like to live there? That's a beautiful home, but it's something you can rent out and put a tenant in there, and they'll love you. The quality of workmanship and craftsmanship, and this is just spectacular. So these are the homes we work with across the country and provide these, particularly to areas where you can't get a home for near this price. Can you imagine living in California and getting into a 2,600 square foot home for this price? It's amazing. And for each property, we create a property analysis where you can understand, all the important statistics with regard to the property, the purchase price, the rental, the vacancy rates, anything that's pertinent to the property as far as cash flow, your amortization term, what kind of interest you're paying on it, the vacancy rate, like I mentioned before, your cash on cash return, your cap rate, everything you wanted to know about the property, we'll give that to you so you can identify what kind of property you'd like to get into. So we provide worry-free real estate, only positive cash flow properties, and we do it all for you. So basically those issues you were worried about, time, fear, money, knowledge, we take care of it. It's not an issue anymore. So there's no worry about getting into real estate. So your options are, you can try to figure this out on your own and do spend, a full-time job searching around the country, trying to find the best properties. You could pay someone to do a coaching program. We just have some customers that just completed a coaching program. They spent tens and tens and tens of thousands of dollars in a coaching program, and they still don't have a property. So basically, for some of the prices people are charging for coaching programs out there, you could actually own your own property. Just let us do it for you. We take care of it all. Really, the question is, what do you need to know? And what you really don't need to know that much. You need to know property valuation, the best locations, cap rates, cash flows, your numbers, and you need a good network of people. That's us. We've done this all for you. So you don't have to know any of that stuff. We've already got it done. The only thing we do together is a plan. So we sit back and create a plan with you, determine where are you right now, where do you want to go, what does my financial future look like based on what I'm doing right now, or would I like to change that? What are my options to improve my future? And so we create that for you. So if you identify that real estate should be part of your future, we help you identify properties, we analyze it with you, we help you purchase the property, we help you manage the property, and then we continue to grow your portfolio so that you can have a more secure retirement, a more secure future. And then we'll provide this report to you, which indicates, how many properties do you want to buy this year, next year. In this case, the property was bought in year 1, another property year 2, year 3, and then year 8, 9, and 10. So we'll kind of just lay that out for you and see what your future looks like based on your acquisition of properties. So at this point, I would love to invite you to an event in your area. Basically, the name for our event is Rock Solid Real Estate Income in a Crazy World. It's a free event. Just simply click to register for the event, and we're coming to your area. We'll give you more information. This is just kind of a brief overview on what we're doing here, but kind of fun. Great environment to learn. We'll actually see the cash flow properties that are available at that time. We'll have professional instruction, and we'll just learn, again, what type of investment is best for you, and get you involved in real estate, because that's what's going to take care of you in the future, is getting involved in real estate. So I appreciate the time we've had here today. It's been fun, and hopefully you learned something about real estate, and really invite you to attend a live event. Those are really fun, and get to learn more and more about real estate, because it really can provide a great future for you. So look forward to working with you, and hopefully we can see you at one of our live events in the very near future. And thank you for attending.